So it's been over a year now since I've been living in my van, and I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about my experience with it so far. This is the lovely Vincent van Gogh, if you had not yet had the pleasure of meeting him. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere because I was getting some crazy awesome shots of the northern lights last night. They were really popping off. It was incredibly dark out here, and there was very little light pollution. It was just amazing. I'll start with all the good things that I think that have been beneficial with this lifestyle so far. When I first decided to move into my van, I was transitioning out of the Navy, and it was a really great way for me to start to save some money and prepare to get out. I decided that 10 years was more than good enough for me. This has been one of the best financial decisions that I've made in my entire life. The cost of housing is incredibly high, especially in a state like California, which is the state that I just came from. When I was looking at potential apartments in California, someone was going to charge me $2,600 for a bedroom in a house shared with 4 other people. There's no way that I'm going to pay for that little space. With me having the ability to save that money from housing, I've been more financially independent than I've ever been in my life. It's realizations like that that make me wonder, could this alternative form of lifestyle, whether it's a van, a shipping container, RV, tiny home, anything like that, could these solutions be part of the answer to the housing crisis that we have here in the United States? I'm not sure, actually. I don't know how you would even conduct that kind of research to figure out if it's a good solution. But in my experience, I've been very happy with living this lifestyle, been able to save a lot of money. I don't know if it's right for everybody. Another thing that I've just absolutely loved about living this lifestyle is the fact that I can just pick up and go at a moment's notice. I can go on adventures, I can go out into the woods, I can just find some land where nobody cares about if I park, and I can spend the night in beautiful places like this and look at the northern lights. Like, that kind of freedom is just something I have never been able to experience before, and it's just so freeing living this kind of lifestyle. It's just amazing. Now, I want to emphasize that living in a van is definitely not for everybody. I'm not saying that it's the solution to all problems and that everybody should just go buy a van and live in it, although that would be really cool. There are certain things that you have to be comfortable with if you're going to be living in a van. Minimalism is the #1 thing. I thought I was a minimalist before I lived in a van, and I was definitely wrong. Having so many square feet where you have to make everything that you depend on for survival and living fit into this small little space is definitely a huge lesson in minimalism, to a level that I've never experienced before this. When I moved out of my apartment, I actually had to put a lot of stuff into my storage unit. I held on to my storage unit for like 6 to 8 months. And for me to be able to get rid of my stuff, it was kind of a hard process because I had to look at all of my stuff once a month. I would start to have to whittle down exactly what I needed to just fit in the van. Minimalism can be good and it can be bad, depending on what kind of person you are. Minimalism can be a really good thing in the fact that you can just pick up and go. You don't have to think about what you need. You only have so many clothes. You only have so much gear that you can bring with you. If you're someone that likes a lot of stuff and you can't live without like all this variety and selection in your clothes, or the gear that you might need, or just you need extra stuff throughout your day, then this lifestyle of living in a van is probably not for you. But if you don't mind having a lot of stuff in your life, then living in a van is actually an asset. I'll definitely admit it's taking an adjustment period of about 6 months to get used to this new level of minimalism for me. I had some experience with minimalism before when I would go ultralight backpacking. I think overall, despite how hard everything's been and the challenges, I think van life has definitely been something that has been beneficial for me, and I would do it all over again. So I've decided that I'm gonna be actually moving into an apartment for the winter because I don't feel like freezing to death in the van. One of the reasons is I don't have a diesel heater installed in the van or anything to really warm it up. I could use a Mr. Buddy heater, but especially with me being in school, I think the best course of action is for me to just have like a small little apartment that I can go study in and not really have to worry about all that. Especially as a student, when you have a busy schedule and you're trying to study a lot, it doesn't really make sense to spend all that extra time trying to stay warm in the snow and all that. So definitely going to be moving into the van, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be completely giving up the van. I'm still going to have the van. I'm going to take it on adventures. I'm going to go do lots of camping, backpacking, and I'm actually really excited to get into more deep winter camping. It's something that I haven't done in a while. I used to do it all the time in New Hampshire, but now that I'm in a northern climate where there's going to be a lot of snow, I'm really excited to get into that. It's just going to be really cool. So that's what's coming up. I'm going to be doing some deep winter backpacking, deep winter camping, survival. Still going to do some van life trips. There's a lot of unexplored terrain. It might be hard to do snow trips in the van because my van is rear wheel drive. It is a V8, but it's rear wheel drive. It doesn't really get a lot of good traction with that, and I don't have chains at the moment. Maybe I can work out something where I can put chains on the van and go to some more developed areas, but I won't be able to go into any deep kind of snow. It's not all-wheel drive. I would say that my van is like a good 3-season van. It's not good in the snow or anything like that, so I'm going to be really careful driving it in conditions like that. But maybe I can find a friend or someone out there that can take me to the trailhead that has like all-wheel drive where I won't get stuck. If anyone has a Jeep that wants to take me to some remote places this winter, let me know. I'm super down. But let's just take a moment and enjoy this beautiful view. This lake is just awesome. What you didn't see was there was someone that was hunting something over there, like ducks or something, and I didn't know that they were over there, and they blasted them. It scared the shit out of me. But despite that, this is just a beautiful, serene lake that is awesome. And I'm really glad that I'm wearing orange today. I love just being able to park by places like this and have this whole place to myself and enjoy this in the morning. Waking up to this in the morning is just the best thing ever. This is one of my favorite parts about this lifestyle, is you can just wake up to places like this and see beautiful lakes, vistas. You can see the leaves changing and the aspens. It's not peak, it's a bit past peak. There's some leaves still on the aspens. So that's been my full experience of living in a van for the past year. It's actually past year and coming up 4-ish months. If you have any questions about anything that I've covered, or if you are still curious about anything that I haven't covered, definitely feel free to let me know down in the comments below and I'll engage with you there. I'd love to make further future videos about anything that you might be curious about. If this video resonated with you today, or if anything that I said resonated with you, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. And you should check out this next video over here for my advice on solo travel and my experience with it. It could really help you. I'll see you over there.